So everybody here on the meeting right now knows it's clear on Article 4, Section 1, right, of the Constitution, and how case law is hooked up to full faith and credit. Everybody's clear on that. In this particular group that's on right now. Trey, Taraji Bay,
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
Taraji Bay, you clear on
Yes.
that? You got that? Trey,
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to jump to the side for a second. What were you asking, brother?
I was saying, are you clear with the concept of Article 4, Section 1, and what that of the Constitution and what that means as far as full faith and credit?
Um, I believe I'm not firm on it. You could breeze over it for me, or whatever that would be nice.
Okay. Larry Bay, you wanna
Can you
you
go
wanna
over anyway?
what'd you say, sister?
Can you go over it?
Okay.
No, we
Brother
can join
Dupac,
it. We doing it. Peace and love.
peace and love, Brother Dupac Bay. How you feeling, man? Islam.
I'm in Philadelphia right now.
Oh, snaps. Yo, DuPont Bay. Islam, brother. This is Larry Bay.
Hey, what's up, Larry Bay? Peace and love.
Hey, man. Did you go to the conference yesterday?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, okay. How was it?
We still entertaining.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, brother.
Islam.
Yeah, man. How's it going?
It's going good.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, man. Oh, so it was a question on the floor, man.
What's the question?
Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution dealing with full faith and credit. What's the ramifications on that? What's that mean for case law and stuff like that?
Oh,
I can't speak too well on that, but I always surround myself around counselors or surround myself around individuals that actually know the law, especially the Constitution, and that's a very good question. But if on the next call, I'm not ready to answer that question, but on the next call, I do have someone that's knowledgeable that will be on the call if you invite us, who will be able to answer that and break that down specifically.
Oh no, we know. No, we having class right now. We just put y'all on the spot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we this for the body politic. We trying to make sure everybody competent around here. So we just put it on the floor just to see who knew about it. But I think Brother Larry Bay, you want to chime in? You got something?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, full faith and credit, man. That's dealing primarily with the recordations, the judicial proceedings, and public acts within our local, state, and federal government. And these judicial acts, recordations, and judicial proceedings, they allow the people to use these in the different states. There are 50, we all know there are 50 states within the union, and these states, in each state, you can use these judicial acts throughout any of the different 50 states within the union. And also, I like to also chime in that the full faith and credit, it's also within the article, it's in the Articles of Confederation as well, Article 4 of the Articles of Confederation. So they double down on it inside of the US Constitution. So, for example, let's say in Texas, right? This is using Texas hypothetically. Let's say their Supreme Court, ruled in favor of some of a law or something to that extent, right? So since it's the Texas Supreme Court, you basically can use that case in any of the 50 states, and it has to be respected, or it has to be taken into consideration. Same thing for, like, for example, if you had a document, not notarized but authenticated. So when you authenticate it on the state level, it's a certificate of authority. So now you can use it within any of the 50 states. So if you, let's say California authenticated, gave you a certificate of authority, you can now use it in Virginia, or you can use it in Maine. It can be used in Minnesota or in Georgia or the U.S. Virgin Islands. Any place within the United States of America, it can be used. You know, but that's what I just wanted to chime in just on my, on my end, as far as the full faith and credit is concerned.
Yep. So, so for the brother out there, hopefully he's more aware, and hopefully everybody in the chat that didn't know is more aware. So, in summary, any case laws, public acts. So when we start talking about the Sundry Free Moors Act, we start talking about Dred Scott case. We start talking about House resolutions from the mayor's department in multiple jurisdictions, talking about how our people are aboriginal and indigenous to the land. These all have full faith and credit. All right, so which means it's law. It's something already decided. It's a precedent that you can use an open court as an exhibit. All right, so everybody clear on that? Empress Taraji Bay, Trey L. The brother that's with Dupa
Yes,
Bay.
I'm clear.
Okay. Non-L, everybody in here clear. Everybody in the chat clear, basically, right?
Yeah, we clear.
All right. So now that we know that, let's go into some treaty-based jurisdiction. So the Hague and Montreal Conventions, treaty law, also may provide a basis for a state's action independent of the principles of customary international law. A treaty creates obligations in states parties to it that may differ from those of customary international law, and it generally is immaterial whether customary international law points in the same or in different direction than the treaty obligation. See the Tunis and Morocco nationality decrees case dealing with Great Britain and France, for example. So Permanent Court of International Justice, predecessor of the International Court of Justice, so ICJ today, International Court of Justice, was called something else at that time, but the same function. So recognizing that a country's treaty obligation could supersede the general norms of the customary international law for the purpose of determining which questions of nationality fall within the domain reserve of the state. So we got constitutional law, we got treaty law, customary. So the treaty itself supersedes any type of customary international law in the Constitution. So the treaty is a very special case, has a specific lens and a specific scope. Ilian Bay, peace and love, brother. How you feeling over there, man?
Okay.
Oh, we had a question on the floor, man, as far as Article 4, Section 1, dealing with full faith and credit. Do you have any information on that, or are you familiar with that? What that entails?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Are you asking me or?
Yeah. I'm asking you, like, what's
Okay, the
Article
way
four.
Islam people, the way I comprehend full faith and credit is such as whatever you put in the public record, that's how the public goes. Basically, if you have any instrument of the de facto United States, they're saying that you belong to them or you're part of them. So anything that you don't have, they cannot use against you. Like they don't carry the Moorish American card, so the full faith and credit would be that they give it to us through our state, so therefore they have to recognize it under the active state doctrine. So it's basically just saying we're separated. So our laws are our laws, your laws are your laws, but it's still kind of equal, like, you know, it comes from our law. So whatever you put in the public, it's going to come back to you. So if you speak it, you think it, you be it, you are it. You're going to get it. That's basically it, right?
I like that. I
Hey,
like that.
Also, yeah, I was gonna say, Mafi, if I can add in one more thing. This is very, very imperative and important for Morris to know is that there's a misconception to the full faith and credit clause. Some people that belong, let's say, to the secret, what do you call that? The what do you call that? The secure party creditor movement. There you go. Secure party creditor movement. There's this misconception that full faith and credit is a hidden account of money or some kind of backdoor deal with the birth certificate and all these different things. People, please do not get sucked into that. That's not what full faith and credit means. It basically, as we stated earlier, is the judicial acts, the recordations, and the judicial proceedings in the state, federal, and local level that allows you to have full faith and credit throughout the United States with those acts or those you know, their you know, when they
Decisions.
decisions. There you go. So I just wanted to make that clear as well.
Yeah.
Islam.
So yeah, you just had came in. That was a conversation we had bounced around before you came on, Elian. So everybody's in the chat is officially aware of what full faith and credit means. So we're going into some case law now that we know that. So the exercise of criminal jurisdiction by consuls over United States citizens was also provided for at one time or another in treaties. That's a case. These are case laws. And by virtue of most favored nation clauses in treaties with Tripoli, that's another case law. The Congo, Ethiopia, the exercise of criminal jurisdiction was also provided for in a treaty with Morocco. Here's a statutory that'll take you to a case. By virtue of most favored nation clause, and by virtue of a clause granting jurisdiction, if any citizens of the United States shall have any disputes with each other. So that quote unquote right here, this lingo, any citizen of the United States shall have any disputes with in each other. That's the language in Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution. So that's the situation. So if a Moor has a dispute with a non or a U.S. citizen, and a Moor has a dispute, that's an example of two separate nations having a dispute. So therefore, the jurisdiction is a federal jurisdiction whenever that takes place. The word disputes has been interpreted by the International Court of Justice to comprehend criminal as well as civil disputes. Case law to support that, France versus the United States. All right, so all this has full faith and credit. So France versus the United States clarifies disputes. And disputes was, well, we already know what disputes is, but I'm talking about this is like cross-referencing the extra layer. It was ruled upon that disputes interpreted by the International Court of Justice to comprehend criminal as well as civil. So any disputes, right? Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution to double down on this case law, right? So in head money cases, 112 US 580, etc., treaty law of land as act of Congress is whenever its provisions prescribe rule by which rights of private citizens or subjects may be determined. If you're a party to a treaty, to the corporate United States, you're looked at as a private citizen. If you're not, of course, if you're not the US citizen, you're the other party outside of the quote unquote US. That's a national jurisdiction. So in the corporatized eyes, you're looked at as private. Somebody that's unplugged from the corp. All right, so more case law, more full faith and credit stuff, right? State statutory provisions must yield to any applicable provisions of any treaty of the United States with a foreign country constituting a part of the supreme law of the land. This is a case law. D. Taranio versus McGowan. Look like a California, or is that Mississippi? Look like California 5th District. It was a district court case, it looks like. So these are case laws. That's full faith and credit. So these it's already been decided that penal codes and statutes are second fiddle to treaty law. Whatever the treaty says, that trumps that. So it's not my opinion, your opinion. It's already been ruled upon in cases. So let's read Maya versus Stanoline Oil and Gas Company. Treaty lawfully entered into stands on same footing of supremacy as do Constitution and laws of the United States. And it is generally self-operating in that it requires no legislation by either Congress or the state. So you boxed out Congress, you box out the state. What they talking about don't matter. Treaty must be regarded as a part of law as state as much as are states' own statutes, right? And if their statutes aren't in harmony with the Constitution and the treaty, then their statutes don't even matter. Notwithstanding is the lingo, right? In Article 6. So, and it may override power of state even in respect of great body of private relations. So this is Amaya versus Stanoline and Oil and Gas Company. So Fellows versus Blacksmith. Courts cannot go behind treaty for purpose of annulling its effect and operation. All right, so once again, Article 4, Section 1. Use that to connect these decisions. It's res judicata, stare decisis. Things already decided. Things already adjudicated on. So let's go through this together. United States Supreme Court, Weems versus U.S., a 1910 case, argued and decided May 2nd, 1910. So its minimum degree is confinement in a penal institution for 12 years and 1 day, a chain at the ankle and wrists of the offender, hard and painful labor, no assistance from friend or relative, no martial authority or parental rights or rights of property, no participation even in the family council. Let me let the brother in real quick. Boom. These parts of his penalty endure for the term of imprisonment. From other parts, there is no intermission. His prison bars and chains are removed, it is true, after 12 years, but he goes from them to a perpetual limitation of his liberty. He is forever kept under the shadow of his crime, forever kept within the voice and view of the criminal magistrate, not being able to change his domicile without giving notice to the authority immediately in charge of his surveillance, and without permission in writing. He may not seek, even in other scenes and among other people, to retrieve his fall from rectitude. Even that hope is taken from him, and he is subject to tormenting regulations that, if not so tangible, his iron bars and stone walls oppress as much by their continuity and deprive of essential liberty. No circumstance of degradation is omitted. It may be that even the cruelty of pain is not omitted. He must bear a chain night and day. What constitutes a cruel and unusual punishment has not been exactly decided. It has been said that ordinarily the terms imply something inhuman or barbarous, torture, and the like. McDonald versus Com, the court, however, in that case conceded the possibility that punishment in the state prison for a long term of years might be still so disproportionate to the offense as to constitute a cruel and unusual punishment. Other cases have selected certain tyrannical acts of the English monarchs as illustrating the meaning of the clause and the extent of its prohibition. My brother Justin, peace and love, brother.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
The provision received very little debate in Congress. We find from the Congressional Register that Mr. Smith of South Carolina objected to the words "nor cruel" and "unusual punishment," the import of them being too indefinite. Mr. Liverpool opposed the adoption of the clause, saying, "The clause seems to express a great deal of humanity, on which account I have no objection to it. But as it seems to have no meaning in it, I do not think it necessary. What is meant by the terms excessive bail? Who are to be the judges? What is understood by excessive fines? It lays with the court to determine. No cruel and unusual punishment is to be inflicted. It is sometimes necessary to hang a man. Villains often deserve whipping and perhaps having their ears cut off. But are we in the future to be prevented from inflicting these punishments because they are cruel? If a more lenient mode of correcting vice and deterring others from the commission of it could it be invented, it would be very prudent in the legislature to adopt it. But until we have some security that this will be done, we ought not to be restrained from making necessary laws by any declaration of this kind. So I'm not going to read all this commentary, but I just wanted to read a little bit of the commentary of the Ladd Foundation that we're dealing with. Cruel and unusual punishment. It was talked about, but that's not the scope of what I wanted to even talk about today. I wanted to get straight to the case law. The brother that prepared this thought that he wanted to add that into this piece, but I'm more concerned with the case law. But for cruel and unusual punishment, of course, when we're dealing with inhumane acts, our position would be rights of indigenous people will be the measuring stick. Genocide violations, what constitutes genocide. Of course, locking people up for colorable law. No law was broken. People are getting locked up for no injured party, etc. All these would be considered cruel and unusual punishment, just to summarize that little section right there. But of course, your position matters, and even to have, that claim even filed, right? So are you part of, or for one, do you have a nationality? Or are you part of a community of people that know their nationality? And are you filing claims as a body politic? And then, that's the direction versus you just not knowing this information. And you just feel you're oppressed for the color of your skin. You would file claims in the court a different way. maybe under the Civil Rights Act or something like that. So, you know what I mean? So I'm just giving examples just to invoke thought. All right, so the United States has from the very beginning recognized that it does not have the power to control private land titles within the states. So why is this case law, United States versus Fox, important? Because now think about this, there's levels to this. Of course, we know the end answer is everybody think allodial title. It's a private title. States don't got jurisdiction over that, right? Okay. That's an easy way out. We know what the law says. But in order to execute that, right, wouldn't you need to have a community first? Because think about what's the purpose of the land? Or are you just saying I'm claiming this, allodial title, it's mine? Technically, it's supposed to be for a nation state, purpose of the land, right? In that sense, in as far as allodial title. Because typically allodial title comes from a community, like it's multiple people part of a body. The land got conveyed for the purpose of the community to further push our political agenda, housing, etc. So therefore, the land is in the trust of a body of people that got a nationality. Now you have private land titles, right? But of course, we're colonized, so it's not. It's ways you have to go about that. You know, you might have to come up, get a property first. Like I said, me personally, I since I've got my feet wet with the exposure with the auctions, I see a way in to get land that doesn't have a mortgage, acquire it, and then later on, once a community is built up, there's some infrastructure, economics built up, there's people willing to be on the land and live around each other who has moors. And it's clear as day that we're utilizing it for farming and we're doing national standards things. We can create a trust amongst each other, or the temple could be the trust, and we could convey property into it, right? But it's not just off top, a load of your title, just me as a Moor, because I'm a Moor, this is my land, and it's not happening like that. We shouldn't even want it that easy. We should want to be in a position where we're operational, right? If we're serious about what we're doing. All right, so let's look at some more res judicata. Silence can only be equated with fraud where there is no legal or moral duty to speak, or where an inquiry left unanswered would be intentionally misleading. We cannot condone this shocking behavior. This sort of deception would not be tolerated if this is routine. It should be corrected immediately. So U.S. versus Twiddle, U.S. versus Pruden, Carmen versus Bowen. So why is this case law important to me? Is because if it's saying, so if I'm in open court and I file things on the record and exhibits, and in open court I verbally put things like this case law and different things that have already been decided upon, and then the magistrate acts like he don't know what I'm talking about, this case law goes in effect because he's being silent. And that's fraudulent. Once I put something on the record, like, look, it's already ruled upon this. This is my nationality. Based on that, this is a dispute from two different nation states. Based on that, this municipal court is the wrong venue to adjudicate this matter. It's already been decided. Right? If he just sits quiet and like, I think you're interpreting that wrong, or something, say something crazy, that's fraud. This case already decided that. It's not, it's, you know what I mean? So it's back to the competence of the Moor in any situation to change the ethers in the building. It's, let's go to another case law. Most of us know about these. A vehicle not used for commercial activity is a consumer good. It is not a type of vehicle required for registration. Like I say, me personally, I'm a realist. You know, you don't have to register your car. We know that. But me personally, like I say, my car is registered under the Temple, and I have a nationality card. The reason I do that is for peace of mind. And like I said, I've done the Morris Place things, not registered, did all that. Had a favorable, had some victories too, you know, but at the same time, until we have a community, thriving businesses, and it's looking like Chinatown, Koreatown for the Moors, once again, it doesn't make sense. Bigger fish to fry, you know. So I recommend, and matter of fact, Asir just had well, he been dropping a lot of them, so I don't even know which ones to direct you to at this point. But yeah, I was watching something, and he essentially basically said that, like, you know, you got to create a instrument. You got to create a transmitting utility to interface with the courts, right? So the temple would be that, but the temple represents nationality and origin. That's why we cover the Department of State Consular Notification and Access Manual, because when they see, oh, Moroccan consulate, or my no, let's be specific. My registration says Khalifa Society Moroccan Consulate Trust. So when I get pulled over and they come to the window, nationality card, it makes sense. It goes with the transmitting utility. It's national in origin, right? So that's an option as well. Or you could just not register at all and enforce the rights of indigenous people, and right. That's cool in court if you're competent and stuff like that. But at the same time, your car might get towed, right? You might lose some money. You might be mad. Talking about the Morris. This more stuff don't work and all this type of stuff. So hey, I'm a realist. I'm a realist, man.
I agree
You
with
know? So it's more, you know, I'm just putting the pecking order out there. What's important as far as when you're talking about nation building, nation, you know. And the more we build and actually have tangible things, like I say, that's why I would bring up Chinatown, Koreatown as a measuring stick, because the Moors need to be doing exactly that. We need multiple blocks where it's just feathers and turbans doing industrial acts. Then that other stuff comes with that. What we're talking about in the law, it come with that. Because now we at City Hall with a favorable reply. Remember, Noble Jew Ali had Oscar the Priest as a mayor elected because he had 20,000 Moors in Chicago alone. So that's what it's really about. You know, being around each other every day, working together, organized in one area. We'll control the politics as the years go on. It's the mere fact that we're the majority in these small towns. You know what I mean? And it's always good to, you know, set up shop in these unincorporated areas, you know, small cities, because it could be more Moors, more could control the votes. Like, you know what I mean? And not saying like we want to be officials in the corporate world, like we want to be like, you know, like I say, a mayor and a corporate mayor. But the reason I brought that up because those corporate mayors look at us as votes. So they're gonna basically kiss our ass to do photo ops with us and stuff like that. So the mayors control the police. So, you know, you see what I'm getting at? We want the police to leave us alone. That's the whole point.
Right.
Talk with us. You know what I'm saying? So it's politics. It's always politics. That's why, you know, but Joe at least said genius citizens. You gotta have there's a lot of things going on at play at one time, you know. That's why any social media that you got, the pictures is all for that reason. It's photo ops, you know. It sets a reality. You want to take pictures with the mayor, you know, you want to because you don't want to be looked at as a sovereign citizen. It's not like we care about this mayor, like, you know, like that. But um, but yeah. So let's continue. Oh, somebody just came in, Billy. I'm not sure. That's the brother I spoke with this morning. Oh no, it's Brian H. Brother Brian H. Peace and love, man.
Just love Ron.
Who else came in here? I feel like somebody's name was Billy or something. Oh, you let you change that. Was that you, Brian? Was you Billy at first? Okay, all right, peace. All right, peace and love, man.
I had a question, quick question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Um, just I guess an example of like not as far as the vehicle traveling, but like you said, using case law in a court situation. Like, how do you state that you want to put something on the record? Do you just you know quote the case law and say I want to put it on the record, or how does that go?
You got it. You wanted to chime in, Elian?
Yeah, I'm just saying the paperwork precedes you where you go to court. So if it's on the paperwork, right, that's what you're saying. That's what it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So when you put it on paper, right, you're proving it. Now they have to rebut it. That's the whole thing. So you put
So
it on the paperwork.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You put okay, like you're the judge, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm coming to court. So before I even step foot in that court, my paperwork is already in your hand or somebody's hand in that court stating the facts, the ordeals, the nations, everything. It's stating what you want us to do and what laws you're going to apply on that paper. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
paper is
Already.
going to have your flag. It's going to be registered in your nation. So it's not international communication because it's two different nations.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Having all your
So,
paperwork prepared as far as what dealing with the
right.
matter at hand.
Right. So when you're putting it in, right, you're telling them, so they're not going to try to force it out of you. You already wrote it down. You're just standing on what you wrote.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah, and also, this is Larry Bay. I wanted to add when you down there at the court building, you're recording something into the record. You're not filing anything.
Right.
Language
Full
is
faith and
very
credit.
key as well. You're recording into the record, and yeah, once you put it on the record, now it proceeds before you. And normally, typically, more as we use writs, and that writ has to be answered, point by point.
What is writs? I'm not sure what that is
A,
either.
a writ is a form of an affidavit. It's an affidavit. It gives a ultimatum to the adversary to either answer this one way or another. Either you agree or disagree. But if you disagree, well, if you don't answer it at all, you acquiesce. Acquiesce means that you remain silent and the matter is adjudged. And now basically when you go to court, there's really nothing to decide. Everything has been decided. And writ's been around for the beginning of time. So you have various writs out there. You have, the most popular one, is called a writ of quo warranto, or a writ of discovery. There's various different writs out there. But
So before
this is what you use.
so before you go on, because it's a blank. Here's a blank canvas for the brother with writs, and you threw a couple writs out there. So brother said writ of quo warranto. So just in summary, a writ means command, right? In an affidavit way. So
Okay.
quo warranto would be, how do you have authority? What warrants you with authority? Yeah. How do you have it? Show your credentials on how you have authority over the matter.
And that would be like the paperwork then, huh? Or like me verbally saying as well.
Yeah, so
No.
that's just the body of the affidavit. Now as you fill in your affidavit with that, what you're asking for in affidavit form is the delegation of authority. So if it's an inferior court, so the language in Article 3 of the Constitution says any court that's not Congress will be looked at as an inferior court. And if in inferior courts need a delegation from Congress to even operate. So right. So if in a quo warranto, you're asking a municipal court to show their credentials that they got delegation of authority from Congress, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking for. How do you? That would be an example of what you put in a court warrant, so like specific, and you know.
Uh-huh. And if they
Yeah.
can't prove that, then, or if they can't
Right. They
answer,
can't. Yeah, they can't answer it. Typically you give them a timeline to respond or to answer. You give them a timeline like maybe 10 days.
Mhm.
And if, if they don't respond, then, the matter, is adjudged in your favor.
And then the discovery, the other one he said was writ of discovery. So discovery is it's a command in an affidavit way saying, what evidence do you have to show that I committed a crime? And you need that point for point. Right? And you
word
have
for
the
when you
right.
say point for point, word for word, or
Yeah, like bullet point 1, you did this to commit a crime. Bullet point 2, you did this to commit a crime, right? And
okay.
So, but also remember the measuring stick is always the Constitution, treaties, decided case law that's in harmony with the Constitution and treaties, and you'll be fine. So I guess what will help you is to know Constitution and treaty law,
Yeah.
and then once you start getting to the point where you're writing writs and you comprehend, like for example, you have a couple of examples, writ of court warrant and writ of discovery. That'll be the title of your composition, and then you'll go into the measure with your questioning, and then wait for a response. Typically, before you even do that, typically they gave you a ticket or something, or alleged that you did something, right? So you're clearing the record before you physically get in there, right? Because
Right. This is all done before we even get to.
yeah.
Okay.
But now once you're in there, and I say just do it for exercise, man. Because when I first start coming across the info, I wanted to, man, I heard Ty saying all this stuff, and I'm like, man, this is on point. I couldn't, tickets and little infractions and all that stuff. It'd be good to go to spar with these people.
Right. Sparring is training.
Yeah. And what's going to end up happening, you're going to start seeing like, oh, this got some validity to it. But yeah, but my main point was, when you get in there, you're saying you got a special appearance. You're not a general appearance. It's also good just to go into the court just to see how they run their court. Even if you ain't got nothing going on, you ain't got no case or nothing, just go in there and see how they run it. Because you're going to start seeing the lingo that the bar members is using. They always say, I'm attorney at law making a general appearance for whoever the straw, whatever, right? So you're going to come in and say special appearance, right?
I'm making a special appearance.
Coming in.
You know the difference? Sorry about that. Trenches.
Yeah, that's a valid question. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know the difference between a special appearance and general appearance?
I do not.
Okay.
As far as
General,
just statement, I would say.
right. General is like when you just walk in at your own free will and you submit to the court or jurisdiction. Special is you're challenging the jurisdiction, be either by a court, a writ of court warranto, because you're challenging the jurisdiction about what authority are they acting upon. So you got to know those two. There's a lot of layers within the layers that you have to comprehend.
Right.
Right. And you don't know these things because we weren't taught law, or we're not actually in court all the time to see these things.
Right. Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
It's about like last time you brought up the idea of consul. So I did some research and I was looking across like history, like the history of like banking, usury, and the different like laws and contracts that made usury possible for different groups. Apparently Napoleon became a consul too, just like how you're talking about. Consul puts you on like a national stage or
international stage,
because he was trying to fight the various banking powers of the day, and it just gave more validity where you're talking about how like
right.
Yeah.
And he also said that
Yeah, how it's all
Right.
connected and like these legal terms matter because even back then, 1850, and then him in the Napoleonic Wars, like he's talking about the same stuff you're talking about now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Count. Yeah. It's because it's ancient, talking about government structure. In order to be a council, typically that's an elected official by a body, right? So it's more, it's an organization going on. And it's more record of that organization amongst people than it is right now. The condition of our people now. So you're trying to get back to it, man, and that's what makes it divine, man, when stuff like that, where stuff pops out to you, it resonates with you, that means that your frequency too, man. Because it's always, it's not all physical, man. We frequency based, we know we're electrical beings, so
Right.
stuff start popping out to you, that's a good sign. That's a good sign, man. You to go in the right direction, man. You in tune with nature that much more. Who just came in here? Oh, brother Hassan, peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, man.
It's love.
Islam, brother. Peace and love to everybody.
Islam.
It's hear from you, man.
No doubt.
Wish I can get mine that long. I can't get my beard that long, man. I
What you
tried.
mean, man? You got hey, I got something for you, Mop. It's called the Dr. Savy stuff. Shucks, I just ordered it. It's like a brown shea butter looking stuff, and it smells like coffee, but that stuff make your beard grow. It make your hair grow too.
Yeah,
I
put
need
me
that
on.
too then.
Put me on,
Yeah,
man.
it definitely makes your hair grow.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to switch it on sometime.
Bantana oil. Bantana oil. That's the name of it.
Okay.
I can hook you up with my man. He was Dr. Savy's apprentice, and he's got an Instagram page. I order my sea moss and everything from him. I mean, it's gonna take a while for it to get way to you in Cali, but it's called Bantana oil. If you can find that in Cali, when you look at it, it's really dark brown. It got the texture of some like raw shea butter, and it smells like coffee. So you'll know it's legit if you got it.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So how's everybody, man? Everybody.
He cut out.
Oh, you cut out,
Everybody
man.
good? Everybody all right? I'm doing a little traveling right now, so y'all have to excuse me. But everybody good though?
Yeah,
We are,
man.
brother.
Good, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We're going over some case law,
Okay.
Yeah. Who else? So all right. Hey, brother Justin, I believe, right? So you pretty much, how you feeling? You good? Brother Justin? Are you clear with the writ situation?
Yes. I was I got the special appearance, the general appearance, and the writs, and just having your having your paperwork. More so the understanding of just what y'all was saying, having your paperwork and things in order before you even get to court, and then standing on your, that's what that means, to stand on your square, I would say, or what I'm getting at.
Right.
But you said he did. I think Brother Larry Bay did say something about verbally stating things as well. But I guess get to that once I, still, like you said, don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but just trying to understand that process when you do put things on the record and have all these things in order. But you guys did answer my question. It's already laid out for you, or you prepare it, I would say.
Yeah, and keep in mind too that you're filing this stuff as an exhibit. It will ultimately become an exhibit at a higher level of court. But also keep in mind, when you come in there and do your special appearance, the stuff that's coming out your mouth in open court, that's causing the clerk to type, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that's coming out your mouth that's causing the clerk to type, it needs to match what you filed.
What I said, okay.
With no paper in front of you.
So I need to know that verbatim then.
And hold the person that you're talking to accountable as you're in real time as you're speaking. Like if he says something in error, you need to put him in like a box, like, and you can't let them keep talking, and it's immediately objection. as soon as they say something that's contrary to positive law or, some statutes or ordinance that's not in harmony with positive law, you got to immediately, according to this, objection, according to this, hold on. This your
Yeah.
personal opinion? This your personal opinion or is it, hold on. Have you went
Be
rogue?
on the head about it, huh?
Yeah, you got
So
that's another element that, that's important.
right. So basically, Mafi, the Grand Sheik is saying that if I shoot a law to you, you're going to shoot a law back to me. I'm going to shoot a different law to counter that law. Then you're going to shoot another law that counters my law until one of us stops or walks away.
One of
Whoever
us gives
stops
in.
or walks away loses. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah.
That's tennis. The way it says the judge is looking at both, the defendant and the plaintiff.
It's court.
Right, swinging back forth the ball, which is a law, statement, fact, whatever. You're shooting it back and
Whoa.
forth until the judge says invalid, out of bounds. You can't use that. But when the judge is speaking to you, trying to apply the law, he's in breach of his office right there. He's not supposed to do. He's just the referee. You don't see the referee in the football field of football picking up the ball and running for a touchdown.
Right.
No, referee just calls out the actions, and that's it. You can, you can't. This is foul. That's it. They throw the flag up. They're not supposed to speak other than speaking to another referee, the camera, or the people up in the stadium. That's it. They're not supposed to be talking to you unless you're like being real belligerent on the field, punching somebody else. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah. So an example, they try to. I have all my paperwork together, and as you're saying. I would say like U.S. Versus Tweet 55F. I would state that whole case law, and then they would have to debunk that one. And if they can't, they're going to be silent.
Right. But most of the times you want to do the Constitution and treaties. Case laws just support what treaties and Constitution are saying.
Oh,
we take with Article 6 and treaties. That's the law. That's the contract. Contract makes the law. Whatever you and I agree about, nothing in this world or anybody else can say what we agreed about. Make sense?
Right.
Nobody. Only God can come in or Allah come in and take our souls away and say, that's enough. Nobody else. So Allah is the main guy who says enough is enough between everybody in the world, in the universe, everybody.
Right.
But anything else, it's our will to communicate and do contracts and justice between ourselves. Plain and simple. That's why the United States cannot interfere with contracts because we're God. We're the kings. We're the kings and queens unless we speak like we're slaves.
Right. Unless we claim that. That's how everything is as far as giving.
So I got a question. So say you go to court, right? You go to court and what they try to do is they try to swindle you into using your straw man. What would you say to be politically correct? Would you say I represent the entity of da-da-da-da-da? Or what would you say to be politically correct in court when they try to say, like for instance, my surname is Shalon Coleman. So if I go to court, they're going to be like, are you Shalon Coleman? Now, if I say I represent the entity of Shalon Coleman, but my name, my appellation is Hassan Omari Bey, the living man in the flesh. Is that correct, or do I have to go at it another way, Sheik, or anybody that can answer that?
So back to with the brother, we telling the brother, I'm coming in making a special appearance. I'm Hassan Omari Bey making a special appearance on the matter of Shalon Coleman.
Got you. Okay. So I don't say I'm representing the entity of Shalon Coleman. I don't say that.
No, the matter.
The matter, not the entity. Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot represent yourself when you're there. Or does that make sense?
True indeed. I got you. I'm digging it.
Right. So you're just stating facts of the ex-real. You
But
weren't
you're not
there. I mean,
there,
you were
though.
there, but you weren't there.
Because it's a fictitious entity. So how are you there and accounting as two people?
Okay,
Word.
That's a
It
piece
is a
of paper.
fictitious name. You're absolutely correct. Word. Okay.
Right. The birth certificate, right? They want this. Yeah, I'm not this.
Yeah, you're not. You're not.
Right. That's an all caps. That's in proper English as before. So it's an ex-rel. You have knowledge to it, but you're not it. You can't be this piece of paper. But they want you to be this paper because this is what the piece of paper, how they go into the trust, their system to get finances to do the bad things they're doing. So as long as you're saying, yeah, you go ahead,
a little more
go
research
ahead
about
and
that
use
too.
it.
I went to go check, and the number at the bottom, it basically is a stock if you look
Right,
at it.
mine says the
Even
one that
stated
you
by
number?
it says Midwest Bank Note at the very bottom. It's a bank note, so that's where the quote unquote monopoly money goes through.
Hey, let me tell y'all what I did recently. I went on Credit Karma, right? I used some U.S. codes against them to get some things off my credit report. They took it off my credit report, but they dropped my credit score down too. Them people funny as hell, man. So I got some items taken off my credit report. You know what I'm saying? Some negative items, and in my spot 20 points because of that.
It should bounce up in like 30 days. It should like double up, like past what it was.
Cause check it, Mob, because when I did the dispute on Credit Karma, it took them cats like a month and a half to do the dispute, and you know it don't take that long. Usually in about a week, they send you an email and be like, yeah, it's still up there, or nah, we removed it. It took them a month and a half that they was trying to play.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's just a strategy. You just, you know, people use the credit world. That's good for business-minded people. You know, you can use credit to, you know, get capital for your business. It's not your energy. And just double up, flip it, you know.
It's like the way they set it up. It's like you got to be in debt for your credit score to be high. So by the time you get that low interest rate, you been paying for 20 years damn near before your credit score get right. You know what I'm saying? It's built
That's what's keeping this corporate America going. That type of stuff.
But what did they give you?
Say that again, sir.
What did they give you? They're like saying you got your credit, or because credit's credibility for you to pay back, but we're not paying anything back.
Yeah, it was some. They just removed it off my credit report like they were supposed to, but they did not. But like my score didn't go up, my score went down. So just now I'm gonna wait another month and see what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I used a little trick against them, like, you know what I'm saying? If I don't write you in writing and say to report my consumer report, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to release my information without my written consent as a consumer. That's written in law, so I used that against them. It worked, but my credit score dropped.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, you might want to create some entities to do business out here in this world, and use the straw as least as possible. You know, create some entities. You know, a sole proprietorship. You can do a LLC. Obviously, you can create an S corp, C corp, but anything that helps build the maximum amount of credit that you can use, that you can leverage, but also maintaining privacy at the same time.
Yeah, but see with that credit, Larry, check this though, Larry. When I left my old job, I started a cleaning business. I have an LLC, right? But here's the thing, Larry. In Virginia, the way they offer you credit line for your business is like you got to gross a certain amount of bread. You a new business just starting and coming out, they're not gonna give you nothing, bro, unless you know some credit people that give businesses, you know, a line of credit without seeing that they making that bag for real. You're not gonna get no line of credit until you start getting that bag. That's here in Virginia. I don't know how it is out your way, but I do have an LLC, Coleman General Cleaning Services LLC. But I found myself spending more money to become a vendor for these property owners than I was getting business, and the business failed. I just let it go because it was too much of a headache and a hassle. So I went back in the shipyard. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's the thing. What it comes down to is your clientele. And think about it. Now we're jumping into a space like we're playing a corporate game, which we're jumping into a space for tactical purposes, right? Because we know the credit system is fraudulent to the point like they didn't really give you a bag of money, right? I'm talking about like a loan. I'm talking about a loan.
Highest degree of fraudulent.
And we supposed to have an unlimited line of credit. We're not even supposed to get denied from a credit card company. That's really against the fucking law too. Oh, excuse my language. That's really against the law too.
We're
supposed to have a unlimited. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mom.
No, you know, you're good, but I'm talking about the scope. I guess we're talking about is to use that game for capital for your
Against
business for your
word,
business. But
word.
the catch is you actually got to flip it. Like if you have an operation where you know, oh, I can get $10,000 from the credit, right? Use that to buy my merchandise for my business and make 100,000 based on that, and then pay off the 10, right? You just
Word.
created some energy out of thin air, right? But that's the key. You got to have, you know, the clientele, and that's what most people use the credit for. They play it and finesse it like that. But if you're not using it in that perspective, then you know you're working hard to pay off something. You know, like any other person that got a mortgage and they, you know, working check to check. Now you a slave to that. But that's back the mentality of the people, you know, right? And
Word.
so what I recommend with you, man, if you got good personal credit and you got clientele, you can just, you know, use your credit cards to buy your whatever you need for your business. You know, if
Word.
it's, you know, but and then once you get to a certain point where you really take off, we just know that we're not buying to that. Like if we ever came to a situation where you're like, I don't want to pay that, we know how to get out of that because it was a fraudulent contract, you know, when it comes down to it, you know.
I have
Word.
a question regarding business as y'all talking about like Brother Mafia. Once I changed my name, um similar to what he was asking as far as like uh controlling the matter or representing the matter. So I can still technically use my straw man as far as in business and be Moorish American.
So if
I
you
wouldn't use my straw man. Nah.
well, but look though, if you're saying using credit, then you are. If you're
That's that. Yeah,
saying
technically what that is.
yeah, that's a
Oh,
straw, but it's a difference between you're saying that's a DBA, like you're approaching it as if
This is a
this is
business.
corporate.
Yeah,
This is my transmitting utility, right?
my
And
Walmart.
right. So and you finessing it because they're giving you credit because you played
Right.
the game, right? It's people
Correct.
that play the game.
Playing Monopoly.
They had they got the work history on paper, they got money fiat in the bank, and they know looking cute like that, they'll qualify for big loans,
Yeah, yeah.
right? That was the whole purpose of looking cute, like right. So now that they got the loan, they could. That was the whole point. We need capital for businesses, and it's either us physically save up, like it's communities that do that in hard cash. But why would you do? People think like, why would you do that when we
You
can
could just do.
finesse
Yeah.
and right, and then but the whole key is you gotta flip it. It's not like we're just getting it and just, you know, because once you flip it, it's like now you got something substantial and now you pay that off. And now we got enough capital to buy some land, just hard cash,
Right.
and turn it into an allodial title or something like that.
Right.
Because the
Right.
whole time we're doing group economics before we even got to that point, we had a system, a strategy.
Because that
You
sounds
know,
like a step we should get to once we once we have our like our places like Chinatown, like creating these businesses that are going to keep our community going, right?
yeah, you gotta have a springboard. You gotta, and once it take off, you know. So,
so what?
you know,
So, mom, what you think about how all like how the Rockefellers and all of them started their wealth and became their own bank with a whole life insurance policy? What if like
that's a
some
lie.
of us,
That's
what if like
that's a lie. Don't believe that. The Rockefellers, a dirty Moore sold the Rockefellers a jurisdiction of oil, the oil company, and they that's how they came up.
okay, because I was doing some research and they were saying that they basically was their own bank. They put the whole life insurance policy in a trust. And then when it grew maturity, they borrowed off of it and paid themselves back. And they was their own bank. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But we can do that organically though. We can like that's the whole point of
Okay.
us as a like yeah. That's the whole point of having body politics because you know rather it be dues or hard personal money, like everybody chip in and put 1,000 on or something or whatever the case may be.
Word.
We create a business together and have it take off, right? So now we can put more money into the pot, and then it just keeps happening. Like, you know what I mean? And then and while that's happening, we're supposed to be doing missionary work, so the numbers get bigger, right? At the same time, because now more people is putting into the energy, competently wise, economically, and on the outside looking in, it's gonna take off because now people are like, oh, they're together, that's unified. This is interesting, and it's gonna take off. Next thing you know, we're gonna be thriving.
I think we gonna all end up on the West Coast, man, before it's all over with, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, most of y'all on the West Coast, you know what I'm saying?
I told you the plan when I spoke with you the other day, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm with it, man. I'm ready for some new scenery, bro. I'm with it.
Hey, man, I'm telling you,
I've never been to Cali in my life, so I know I'm be like a kid in the candy store.
That's the way it's looking, man.
I just got to do a lot of meditating, Mom, because there's some beautiful women out there. Wow.
Wow.
I ain't gonna hold y'all, bro. I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all, man. That's the only thing I'm gonna have a problem with them women. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me get the Quran.
You better read, yeah.
It's the Quran time.
Hey, yo, Mom, if my old lady don't come with me, bro, it's a wrap, bro.
Bring the Bible out, bring the Quran.
Y'all gonna be like, where Hassan at? Oh, I know where Hassan at. Yeah.
Hey, obviously she's not traveling with you right now.
No, it's all good, man. That's what it's about, man. It's the think tank, man. It's the temple. It's the where we do this at, you know.
Word.
But
it'd be so much better when all us in person, man. That shit'd be so much different, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we can see each other, you know what I'm saying? Shake each other hands, hug each other, embrace each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, man. But it's coming together, man. I feel like within a year or two, we'd have some land. That's what it's looking like. We can start getting something started.
Definitely, I'm with it, man. And there's a lot of shipyards on the West Coast of California too.
Yeah, right there. San Pedro, Long Beach, that whole little area. Yep, shipyards all through there. Yep.
They pay that bread too.
So I know we kind of drifted off a little bit, but let's read a couple more case laws, and then I'll just close out with the Quran, and then we can kind of like just freestyle on some whatever we want to talk about, whatever.
Striking that you can travel around, and you can find structures that are similar.
Everybody knew.
Oh, that's
I'm in the woods. I don't know who that is.
No, it's Ilian.
Sorry about that. I was because I have it in my head. I can't hear it that good.
So you're watching the Discovery Channel?
18 Aliens.
Hey, Mom, you a funny dude, Mom.
I love that.
My man said he watching Discovery Plus.
Hey, I used to be my stuff too. I still be watching it sometimes.
That's not over there. Wow. Yo,
18 Aliens.
Oh,
and I feel you, man. All right, so let's just do a couple more case laws. All right, so we're talking about an affidavit. So an instrument is deemed in law filed at the time it is delivered to the clerk, regardless of whatever instrument is file marked. So that's key. You could write an affidavit on a napkin. This is what this is saying. Once it's filed, it's filed. Matter of fact, the Empress Mumtaz Maji El put something in the chat. Go to Khalifa Society go to YouTube and go to Khalifa Society in Court. It's gonna take you to an open court case that I was counsel for a brother in Ventura, and the magistrate kept talking about. There's a couple situations that happened with that. The whole supremacy clause, we put him in the box with that, but before that, he was saying, "Oh, everything you might be saying is true, but our local laws of Ventura County said you have to file it a certain way. You got to be on our paper or something like that." He was saying, right? So this case law right here, yeah, the font. That's what he said. It's the improper font. He would talk about the validity of what I found. He said it was the wrong. It was the wrong font.
Okay. Let's look for something.
Man.
Hey,
They had to look for something because it was too much.
Blazed him. It was so much heat being thrown at him. That's all he could say was, "But the font."
Sound like it was a free bureau.
Hey, it was crazy.
Y'all embarrassed him.
Is that the one you turned to a free man's bureau? Is that the case you talking about?
No,
you turned it to a free man's bureau?
Oh yeah, pretty much, yeah. No. That was another one. I was in Fullerton, but it's one that we recorded that I uploaded on YouTube. That it was in Ventura, and that's the one I'm talking about. But nah, the other one, the one I'm talking about, the judge left he left it out the back. He just left. He was like, he said, he said,
abandoned?
Yeah, but he said, what'd he say? He said recess. I hit him with the Sundry Free Morris Act, and he looked through it. He was like, same thing, forfeit the credits. South Carolina was already ruled upon, stating the status of the Moors. I'm distinguishing myself from your statutory law. He was like, he read it. It was like 5 minutes of open space. I'm talking about nothing. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? He was like, 1 second, sir. And he was like, we have to do a continu-. No, he said we got to do no, he said recess. We're gonna have to do a continuance. And I said, what's the date? What's the date of the continuance? No date. He just left.
He had one. That's right.
Yeah.
That's an abandonment right there.
Yeah, right.
They did the same thing when I went to my man case with my fans on and everything. I had my dashiki on everything with a mean mug. They continue the case. He ain't got no court date. He don't even know when to go back to court. I just sat in there. I ain't had to say nothing.
Yeah, man. Like I say, the more competent, because they'll try to hit you with something just to see kind of like, all right, he just learned this yesterday. He filed something. But like I said, that's why in open court, you must be competent. You must be sound in law so you can objection and keep them in certain parameters, because other than that, because it's people, like I say, let's face it, it's people that make us look bad that go in there and try to get out of something. They're not really steady like that. And, the divine energy ain't there. It's not going to, remember, this is the ancestors we're talking about right here. We pretty much transmitting energy that was bestowed to us, right? And it's divine. We came across information and we're basically saying this is the truth. This is what's wrong and what's right, right? So either you do know what that is or you don't. And you're gonna be tested. They're gonna hit you with the okie doke, to see if you really are who you say you are, so we gotta remember that element as well.
So you can get so good at this, you can make judges run, so to speak, or abdicate their position from being the referee.
That's calling the bench. They will abandon the bench when
when you take over the court.
Right, exactly.
If he leaves he's driving the boat, right? But if he gets up and he leaves, you're steering just wherever, you're kind of lost to sea. You can get up and dismiss everybody.
The court is supposed to be like a representation of like a vessel or a boat, right?
No. A court is anywhere. You can have a court outside. It just follows the king. A court's not a building. Okay, don't look at that. So you got to go to the Black Laws Dictionary, look up court. So that's what a court is, and it's where the king is. They follow him, and they can have it. They can go to McDonald's and have it.
Wow.
And also too, they're actually restricted from using that term court. This is the reason. This is the reason why you see the terminology hearing. you don't no longer really see your summon to come to court because they're restricted in using that term because due to the bankruptcy of 1933, so they use the term hearing instead.
Oh, they do use hearing.
Know your words. If you don't have a Edimon online, it's a free app. Download that.
Excuse me, what you say again? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'll put it in the text for you. Just that way it's called Edimon online. It's a free app. Download it, and whatever words that you don't comprehend, put it in there. It's like a Black Laws dictionary, kind of like sense. But you get a Black Laws dictionary and the Edimon. Edimon tells you how the word was used or how it's translated throughout the ages. It's age marks. Okay, so
that's very useful.
Yeah. So yes, keep in mind, and I'll, keep uncontested allegations in the affidavit that you submit or file or record shall be accepted as true. Allegations and affidavit in support of motion must be considered as true in absence of a counter affidavit. So that's the importance of putting it in an affidavit form, because, and I highly recommend referencing the 10 maxims of law, but an unchallenged affidavit stands as true. So you want to put everything in an affidavit form, right? In an affidavit form, you're going to have a couple of signatures on the bottom. You're going to have some lingo saying you swear, not under the laws of the corporate state, but you can use some laws that we have as far as to the Morris Nation. I swear that this is true to the best of my abilities under penalty of perjury or whatever. So that's what makes it an affidavit. And once it's like that, they have to respond in the same way. Like, okay, well, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. And I swear that you did it wrong under penalty of perjury, right? That response needs to take place. Just for FYI, whoever didn't know that. You got something? Somebody mess up something? Okay. So once challenged, jurisdiction cannot be assumed. It must be proven to exist. Stuck versus medical examiners. So once again, you've challenged it twice. A month before you came in, a couple weeks before you came in, you filed paperwork, filed an affidavit, gave them a chance to respond. They didn't respond. You followed up with a default affidavit. Now you're physically here, making a special appearance to see what's going on. Because I haven't got a default. Maybe you put the wrong address. Maybe I'm here just to clear up the matter because I didn't get a dismissal or anything, and so maybe you typed the address where I received mail wrong. I'm here making a special appearance just to clear up the matter. Right now, you're mentally ready to open court, spar with them, make them look silly in open court. Right? They might make you go last, man. It might be 100 people that got court cases. You was there first. They might make you go last. These things that they do. But hey, it's a learning exercise, man. If you want it like that, I just look at it like it's a learning exercise. It's good, man. All right, so
I got one more question to that. What other things should be in order as far as when you go into court and have all your proper paperwork and all the proper process in order? Like if I'm still using an address in California, would that put me back in jurisdiction, or would that debunk any of the things that I'm putting forth in court?
You want to use an in care of address.
In care
of, and you don't use the term address. You use the term mailing location. My mailing location is in care of
location
3456 Street.
My mailing location in care of.
Location in care of. Okay. Do not give them an address, because then you fall under the Buck Act. The Buck Act is the overlay that where zip codes and everything else plays into it. That puts you right into their jurisdiction. So I always want to tell them you receive mail in care of at this location.
I receive mail in care of. Okay. Receive. Okay, thank you.
Study real hard before you go do this.
Yeah.
Personally, what I would like to do, I know Mafi Granchi has already done like an open court type of thing, you know, because I have like I go through it all the time how one would proceed in court. So I try to think of different ways to challenge them by their own rules and their own laws and what they're having us, you know, does that make sense? I'm playing by the rules where they can't get out for their own rules, like what Jolie said.
How would
So
you
I
know?
like to have
Excuse me, sorry, my bad.
Right, go ahead.
How would you know when you're ready to even like go at that level against them? Would you recommend, like, I don't know, what would you recommend to know when you're ready for you to be able to take that next step? I know you said going into court, you know, seeing how they run things, seeing like the lingo, the jargon, but how would you know personally if you're competent enough to be able to?
Okay. Me personally, when I look at other Moors, right, when they speak, if they don't speak in how I would like read things out or what the prophet says, then I would know that whether they're ready or not. Same thing. If I'm speaking, if my language is connotative, then I'm not ready. Does that make sense? So it's what you say. What you say will and can be used in a court of law. So it's your languages first and your principles. So follow the principles, and that way, if you can't speak those principles, you're not ready. That's the way I see it, but that's everybody's their own. Because I hear Mafi.
Studying hard is
Right. I hear Mafi speak, and he does not deviate off the principles and laws. That makes sense. He's not going off and just talking about other things. He's really staying on track, and that's why I keep coming back, because he is what I like to hear, or not hear, what I've studied.
Yeah, he
Does that make
studied and
sense?
he know his stuff. He studied and showed himself approved. You know
He's
what I'm
literate
saying?
in this subject.
Right.
You know?
He's saying what I've read in law.
Yeah.
So if you, like he said, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and somebody's telling you, oh, we don't use a Constitution, you better get up and walk away.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's listen to what the prophet said, listen to what the people are saying, engage them by truth and principles. Nothing else. Not what they look like, not how they treat your dog or cat. Truth and principles. That's what I look at.
Right.
So, and if they have that, then we can become friends, brothers.
Yeah. Free national standards. Free national standards, right? In the divine warning.
Yeah, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They don't speak love or truth, and don't need to be them. Go find somebody else who's doing the good work and help them do more good work. That's the order of the prophet. Read the prophet's statements.
That's a direct
That's my
quote.
advice to you. Right. Read the prophet's statements and follow what he has to say, then view everybody as to what the prophet has said, because he's telling you, if you believe that my way is not, you know, how does he say it there, Mafi? If you do not believe, if my way is not the way, then go to those people and ask them in an intelligent tone, and they'll give you a favorable reply.
All right, City Hall.
So
Yep.
Right. So same thing. Ask anybody, any person you're going to, the cop, the judge, or it's not a judge, your friends, the grand sheik, the ministers, everybody. Ask everybody. If they're not giving you what the prophet says they need to be giving you, I wouldn't be around them. That's just me, though. That's personally me. And I found out that this group here is what the prophet speaks of. So I'm back. I'm here.
Beautiful.
This is my third temple. This is my third temple. Okay. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going around, man. I'm bumping into other boards, man, and they like, yo, who you with? And I be telling them and stuff like, they following other temples and stuff, but they really not having a good progress. You know what I'm saying? They're not, you know, as far as their national card and things of that nature, they don't have none of that. And I'm just looking like I stay in silence. I don't be trying to create no. You know what I'm saying? Because your words is power. Your tongue can be a sword. So I just listen to them, and I be like, you know what I'm saying? to stay as neutral as possible. But there's a lot of sheiks out here that ain't moving like Moff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah, it's a
saying?
lot.
And you know, our truth, our family's truth will shine. It's just going to take time because Moff is so far away. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk to try to do missionary work, a lot of people be like, he all the way in California. First they come out their mouth, oh, he, you know what I'm saying? He trying to play you, whatever. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very good judge of character. I'm from the Bronx. I'm a very good judge of character. I've been blessed with that before I even came into my consciousness. When I was a knucklehead back in the day, I'm a very good judge of.
Oh, you mute yourself. You muted yourself, man.
Oh yeah. So when I read the book, when Mafi told me to get the book, and I read the book, I was part my language. I was like, oh shit, I ain't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. And
what book are you talking about?
The book that you order when you first join the society. He wrote a little book and he suggested. Yes, the book when I first started. That's what got me. I was like, oh, this brother deep. I got to do this. And you know what I'm saying? I've been in the game about 3-4 months, man. You know what I'm saying? And when I first started, I was so intimidated. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I ain't gonna learn nothing. Man, it's coming to me. Even with a super 9 to 5 working overtime, I'm still finding time to, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I be finding myself at work straight talking to people like Perry Mason. They be looking at me like, nah, I ain't messing with him. Yeah, you better back up. You feel me? Yep. So, you know, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing.
Added on to Elian Bey, what Elian Bey said, there is a lot of false teaching going on out there. And I tried another temple as well, but I have to say Mafi is the truth because everything that he teaches, I can actually like visualize in my mind what I've already read before somewhere down. It resonates with me. You get what I'm saying? So
yes.
It's not an abstract opinion or some kind of, you know, his own dissertation treatise that he's creating on his own. And I want you guys, yeah. Now that's a cult, man. That's a cult. You know, that's a cult. I don't think any of us is down with that. So, you know, that's the reason why.
But like, cause I had bumped into some other Moors, and they was, you know what I'm saying, when I was at another job back in the day. So what they told me to do was claim the rights to my assumed and fictitious name. I did that. Then they was telling me you gotta get your long form certificate of live birth, and that in New York was giving me like static. They kept sending me the copies, and I couldn't really get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? I fell off, but the way they was trying to get me to do stuff was totally different. I'd have been in jail messing with them. You feel me? I got all that paperwork and thinking I'm good, and then they be like, slap, you in jail. What you gonna do now, Pop? I was like, yeah. You know what I mean?
That's why I want to be extremely careful with this because I know how delicate of a matter this can be.
Very delicate, and the way Mop doing it is different. You know what I'm saying? It's different the way Mafia is doing it because he's I'm on the phone because he's you know, he's slowly but surely implementing that. He don't want you to be in a rush. When you be in a rush, you know what I'm saying? Old head told me you go fast, you won't last. You go slow, you go some more. You know what I'm saying? So,
talk to him, man. Talk that talk, man.
I gotta tell that.
So don't be in no so to everybody that's not just joining, don't be in no rush, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just coast with it. You know what I'm saying? Just like the prophet said, if I give you all information at one time, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be right. I gotta slow feed you, sprinkle it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. I'm with it, bro.
Beautiful, man.
I'm with it, Marv. We all right, Marv. I'm gonna get to Cali soon, man. I'm scared as hell of planes. I'm gonna tell you now, I'm be crying, praying, meditating, everything when I fly over there. But I'm gonna get there. Trust me.
No, it's gonna work itself out, man. We're making great strides. Like I said, we're trying to get some land and a couple things popping off the next couple months. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my vacation. Y'all show me some California love out there now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
man.
Come on now.
Hey,
I'm saying, you know, we ain't gotta go to no nightclubs and nothing, but I want to see a little something while I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even going front. You know what I'm saying?
It's entertainment.
Go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. Look at the honeys. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy life. Be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm just messing with y'all, bro. You know, no food, no fun.
Yeah, man. So I'm just gonna read one chapter of Quran and close out officially, and then we kind of have like a loose convo. We can talk about whatever. There's a couple things I wanted to bring up anyway at the back end. So this is chapter 6 of the Circle 7 Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Noble Jew Ali, life and works of Jesus or Yahshua in India or Hindustan among the Muslims. So a royal prince of India, Ravana, in the south, was at a Jewish feast. Ravana was a man of wealth, and he was just, and with a band of Brahmic priests sought wisdom in the west. When Jesus stood amongst the Jewish priests and read and spoke, Ravana heard and was amazed. And when he asked who Jesus was, from whence he came, and what he was, Chief Hillel said, "We call this child the day star from on high, for he has come to bring to men a light, the light of life, to lighten up the way of men and to redeem his people from Israel." And Hillel told Ravana about this child, about the prophecies concerning him, about the wonders of the night when he was born, about the visit of the Magian priest, or the Magi priests, right? About the way in which he was protected from the wrath of evil men, about his flight to Egypt land, and how he then was serving with his father as a carpenter in Nazareth, right? We know some of the carpenter's tools, right?
Yep.
Ravana was entranced and asked to know the way to Nazareth, that he might go and honor such a one as Son of Allah. And with his gorgeous train, he journeyed and came to Nazareth of Galilee. He found the object of his search engaged in building dwellings for the sons of men. And when he first saw Jesus, he was climbing up a 12-step ladder. 12-step ladder. Jesus was climbing up a 12-step ladder, and he carried in his hands a compass, square, and axe. Ravana said, "All hail, most favored son of heaven." And at the end, Ravana made a feast for all the people of the town, and Jesus and his parents were honored guests. For certain days, Ravana was a guest in Joseph's home on Mariam Way. He sought to learn the secret of the wisdom of the sun, but it was all too great for him. And then he asked that he might be the patron of the child, might take him to the east where he could learn the wisdom of the Brahms. And Jesus longed to go, that he might learn. And after many days, his parents gave consent. Then, with proud heart, Ravana, with his train, began the journey towards the rising sun. And after many days, they crossed the sand and reached the province of Orissa, in the palace of the prince. The Brahmic priests were glad to welcome home the prince. With favor, they received the Jewish boy. And Jesus was accepted as a pupil in the temple of Jagannath. And here he learned the Vedas and the Manic law. The Brahmic masters wondered at the clear conceptions of the child and often were amazed when he explained to them the meaning of law. Meaning of law. So in this chapter, things that the principles that were highlighted in here, and a couple of the metaphysical statements that were in here that stood out as well. One, 12-step ladder. I did a piece on this, how this is tied to the 12 cranial nerves in the body. I did a piece on how this is related to the 12 mastery of the 12 zodiac constellations and the energies that those constellations emit. When you're dealing with the compass and square, anybody that took geometry, dealing with angles, knows just that. When you're looking at your chart, you're gonna not like I'm a Virgo, but you're gonna be a certain degree in Virgo, right? Degrees is dealing with angles. Right. You're dealing with a square and the axe. We're cutting off things that old habits that are not useful. Oh, hold on, we got something in the chat. I'm sorry. Let me address these things in the chat. I didn't even see this. I was reading an article earlier today on Facebook where I see the Moors in Illinois have their own Marshall building. And then Justin, okay, Justin is left. Peace and Islam. Oh, peace and love, brother Justin. He might be already gone. All right. I'm not familiar with that. The Illinois situation.
Yeah, that's how I was going to read the article.
You got the article?
No, I got to look for it. He posted it, and I saw it, and I was like, I got to read that article.
Okay.
Research it. That's what I do. I research. So
that's awesome. But yeah, so essentially, this chapter, character. Remember, the holy books is for character building, humility, etc. You know, anything that stood out in this chapter for anybody else before we close out officially?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
On your, I would like some insight on what you believe when he said an axe. He carried the 12-step ladders. He had a compass square and an axe.
So to me, the axe, I would say the axe would to cut off the unfavorable parts of your personality, things that you want to correct, I would say. So,
yeah, I just never heard of him carrying an axe. I saw the compass square and read it where it straightens out the corners of the life and so forth. I know all that, but I just didn't realize he was carrying an axe at that point at this time. Interesting. Though.
Oh yeah, square your conduct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part. That's in another chapter. Yeah. But yeah, man. He was a carpenter. Jesus was a carpenter.
Right.
But a lot of people don't comprehend that. To that. People that have been kind of in the movement, this is like a cliche, classic example. But people that are just coming into it, then they know Jesus as a figure. And it gives them more insight to his 12-year-old boy versus the 33-year-old man. So this is an appeal to our people to let them know, our Christian brothers and sisters, let them know that we're pro Yahshua, we're pro Jesus. Let's close out in prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Ali. Amen. So I'll officially close out for today, and then we can kind of talk about some ideas and stuff.